Okay, everyone, I'm here. I'm almost ready to jump in. Just checking a couple settings and I'll be ready to go, basically. If you're seeing the wrong title on the stream, that's not my fault. Um, I think Restream probably didn't pick up the update that I put on, so that would be why. But it should be saying creating interface mockups and designs with CSS. If you're not seeing that, I'll work on it. I don't know why that's happening. By the way, I hope you're not hearing me twice because I just turned on my phone so I could reply to anybody on Twitter and didn't remember to turn the volume down. So yeah, that happens. But anyway, today we'll be designing interface mockups with CSS. We're going to be doing mobile, desktop, and watches, smart watches. So should be pretty fun and interesting. Yeah, so I'm gonna jump in shortly. Just give me a couple more minutes and I'll be ready to go. Alright, I believe we are ready to get started. I have Visual Studio Code open. You'll notice I'm using this now as of recently, as opposed to Atom. I'm actually getting pretty comfortable with it, believe it or not. So we'll be using this from now on stream. I'm going to create a new folder. In fact, let me create a new file and create the folder automatically. I like to do it that way. So we'll call this interfaces index.html, and then we are going to create a new file, css interfaces.css. The only JavaScript that we'll be using today is actually going to be pulled from a library that I've written before called Toolbox. Let me go ahead and add the boilerplate code as well. I will make sure this time to link the CSS file before I go trying to preview the file, because past couple of weeks that has happened to me for some strange reason. I never remember that. I'm going to take out async and defer, although they're cool, not necessary this time. And also let me link the CSS file as CSS, right, interfaces.css. Pretty cool, by the way, that code knows the names of your files for you, because I don't think Atom does that unless you have them referenced somewhere else. I don't think Atom does that, so that's a pretty cool feature. Oh, by the way, let me show you what we're going to be working on today. I don't have anything designed specifically beforehand, so this is just kind of going to be off the cuff. But for the watch, we're going to do something pretty interesting, and I want to jump to this, so I might kind of get to the watch early because it's on my mind and I really want to do it. I think it's going to be pretty fun. So first things first, we're actually going to start with the mobile desktop. Well, then again, let's start with the regular desktops, not mobile desktop. I don't know. I said desktop and mean mobile interface. So let's start with the desktop interface. Then we'll work downward in form factor. So we're gonna add a nav bar, add a menu to this. I forget that you can actually make this even easier. So let me see if this works. Oh, cool. The one thing though that I don't quite get or don't remember exactly is how to get the child elements. The last one, yeah, that didn't work like I expected it to. Alright, I don't remember how to do that one offhand, so I'll just do what I know right now offhand because I can't remember. Oh wait, they have blank too, that's cool. Nice, I like that. For someone coming from Atom, there are a couple things I didn't know Visual Studio Code could do, so I'm a little bit on the impressed side, to be honest. As you can probably tell, I like my code to look a certain way too, so that's why I'm putting all that stuff there. Alright, so we have a nav, we're going to have a header, then we're going to have another header that will serve as the title, so header, class, title, and this one will be class, page header, let's add a second nav. This one will be page nav. And I'm going to do something really cool here today, by the way. We're going to have a central circular menu on the page nav. Kind of like a project that I created called, is it Simplicity? I can't remember offhand. Let me load it up and I'll show you. It looks pretty cool. By the way, if you see me looking away, I'm actually working on two screens, but they're kind of far apart, so I usually have to turn my head quite a bit. But I'm still here. Alright, it's simplistic. Couldn't remember the name of that for some reason. Shows you how much I'm working on, too much at once. Yeah, but here it is. I'm going to create something kind of like this. So you're going to have two links on either side of this menu and then the central menu right here. Of course, this still needs some work to get to be as good as it should be, but I think it's going to be pretty cool. By the way, if you see anything flashing across your screen right now, that is some kind of bug with OBS Studio. I don't know what's up with that. It doesn't normally do that. Maybe it's because I'm using Chrome, I don't know. Alright, so let's call this circle menu. and we'll drop some text in it. I actually am going to use classes because not only is it necessary, but it's the wise thing to do. Not going to cheat and just use the elements as selectors. Alright, this will be oops, not menu. This is main nav. Let's also add a main, by the way. In fact, this should come above the page nav because that will give us the correct z index. So main, let's make this easier. Main section by 3. Now each of these sections, what I have in mind is each of these sections is going to be a different color, and the idea is that they will appear differently on mobile and desktop. On the watch, they'll just disappear altogether, as will some other elements, but some of them will move them around and change how they work. We're only going to be using CSS to do all that stuff. So the only reason why we're even going to use JavaScript at all is to activate buttons like the menus and stuff like that. For semantic purposes, these should be wrapped in something else, but I'm not going to go through all that trouble right now. Do I need anything else on this page? I don't think so. Alright, we have the main nav with 3 elements. Let's make it 5. Just because. And, oh yes, let's give this a class. Alright, I don't think we need anything else here, so I will go ahead and open up the live preview. Now, as you can see, there's absolutely no CSS, so everything looks kind of ugly and stupid, but we'll fix that pretty quickly. So first things first, let's sort out the default padding and margin and border sizing, box sizing for pretty much everything. So padding and margin to 0, box sizing to border box. Let's also give them a line height as well. This isn't necessary, but I'm going to do it this time. Save me some trouble. So I'm going to put line height to about 115%. Okay, more than that should probably work. Yeah, there we go. 135%. Looks pretty good. Font family, sans serif. Font weight. Let's see, about 200. Doesn't always work depending on the font. If you're using the standard font from your browser, it usually doesn't work. So what I'm going to do is actually grab some Google fonts because I'm pedantic and I don't like ugly fonts. Nope, what am I doing? Fonts.google.com, right. I don't know why I was searching for that of all things. Alright, open sans is good. Alright, so let's drop this in the top of our CSS file. Good, much better. And now the nav elements. Let's sort those out. So we have main nav and page nav. Well, then again, let me work with the ones that are going to be at the top, which will be, I should move this to the bottom too, by the way. That will be the main nav and the title. I'm going to rename this class too, because this should be page title instead. Alright, so we're going to put page title and main nav. These are going to be position fixed. Both will be display flex. Top on both of them is 0. Bottom, we're going to use calc for that. Calc 100% minus 50 pixels. Do we need any other defaults on these? I will figure that out eventually. So page title is going to be left 0 and right is going to be calc. In fact, no, we don't need calc for that. Let me just use a rate of 75% and main nav. We're going to put that to left of 25% and rate of 0. Let's give them both a background color. Background color, let me use a var for that. Let's call that top element BG. And let's actually add that variable and some others up here. So root top element BG RGB 235, 235, 235. By the way, if you see me moving quickly and you're wondering why are you moving so fast, it's because I kind of have an idea in mind as to where I'm going, but you can slow me down if you want, by the way. By the way, if you're still seeing the wrong title, that is something up with OBS Studio. I'm not quite sure why, but it didn't update the title from testing settings. I am clearly not testing settings. I'm going to try to get it to update again. Alright, it doesn't seem to want to change the title from here, so I don't know why it won't do that. But I'll at least be able to change it on Twitch. Alright, I'm gonna check some stuff very quickly, but I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Had to check some settings there because my computer decided to be fancy and not inform me that some things were not exactly working. More is my fault, but I decided to blame the computer because, hey, why not? Fun. But yeah, I forgot to check one little setting, and so y'all weren't hearing any music. My apologies. But there's another small issue. If you are on Twitter and YouTube, you're probably seeing the old title that I had before. I am not testing settings, like I said. I am clearly doing something else, but for whatever reason, Restream is not updating the title. But no big deal, at least you can see what I'm doing. I will change it on YouTube afterward though, so if you're on YouTube, sorry about that. But if you're on Twitch, you can see the updated title, or at least I hope you can. Alright, so let's hop back into it. Top element color. I'm gonna use a color close to black, but not quite. You know what I did not think of? Let me try something. There's a tool on here that I recently installed that is really cool. Let me see if I can find it. Yes, here it is. Colors AI. Supposed to generate a color scheme for me, and I have not tested it yet, so this is the first time ever. If it actually loads, that is. Because sometimes these packages, like snap packages and stuff, don't always work. So we'll see. But I've been meaning to try it out for a while. There's also gpick, and pick doesn't give you a color scheme, but it does save colors for you, which is pretty cool. Alright, so this allows me to actually pick a color from the screen. That's cool. Oh, this is gpick and not the other one. I see. Where did the AI thing go then? Oh, well, we'll work with gpick if that's what it takes. Now, can this generate a color for me? Oh, palette from image. Let's see how this works. Oh, I have to actually load an image? I'm too lazy for that, so that's not gonna happen. Not really, I'm just not bothering to look for an image today. I'll just work with colors from the top of my head. So, top element, highlight. This is gonna be for buttons that are hovered, or for like text of anything that is active, like say if you're on a home page and the link that you're on is that particular page, this is going to be color for that. So we're going to use a blue color because blue is kind of lively but also still calming at the same time. So let's go with RGB 35, 135, 235. You'll find I like working with 35 a lot, so I tend to use those colors. Alright, and then we will have top element. Let's go with focus. And for this one we will use maybe like a green to indicate that it is actually being focused at that point in time. So 135, 35, 135. Oh wait, this should be 135, 135, 35. My mistake. Let's turn this down a bit. Right, so it's a little more green than red. Oh, not 5. What did I press on my keyboard? Let's go with 75. That should be good. Alright, for now I'm gonna stop adding colors to my variables and get back to actually building this thing. So where was I? We have page title, we have page nav, and they're in place. So we need to actually set up the styling of the menu on the nav. So main nav. What's the... Oh, it's page menu. Well, since we're using separate classes, so I'm not dragging that thing. Since we're using separate classes for the different menu styles, which should be main menu and page menu, I'm not going to need main nav as part of that selector. So let's just change this to main menu. That's what it is, right? Right, yeah. And let me also set up some styles for page menu one time too, so that we can avoid duplication. So their list style will be none. Display will be flex. Is anybody else using display flex? Yes, they are. I'll tell you what, we're gonna take this out. Copy this. Drop it here. Copy this. Drop that there. Add a comma. Good, now everybody can share display flex under one's declaration block. Highly recommended my array in CSS to group everything that shares properties together, unless you are going to be, for whatever reason, you need to separate those properties maybe later and it will be, you know, like a complicated file, but typically group everything together if they're sharing properties. So let me see. List style is none. I'm gonna use gap 15. Well, in fact, let me not use gap because gap, yeah, gap is not gonna be as cool as just simply letting this be done automatically. If I use gap, it's gonna be a defined thing, but it won't be flexible enough at least. So let's use justify content instead. I'm gonna move this down though because I'm gonna use it for just these menus, at least for now. I may have changed my mind later, but we'll see. Oops. Anything else between these two? Oh yes, text transform uppercase. Font size, we're going to put that smaller. So a font size of about 75%. Or maybe even smaller than that. How about 50? Yeah, that's a little too small. 65, good. I'm also going to grab another thickness for this font here, so we add this and copy this. Font weight, we are going to put that at 400. And letter spacing, we are going to put that at 0.25 ch. That looks pretty good. Let me move it up just a little bit. Alright, 35, that's not too bad. And what else do we need? Alright, let's add some text so we can actually see these menus. So for the page nav, we're going to have, let's suppose this is like a home page. We may want to have like products, services, partners, and contact. I forgot to wrap all these inside of anchor tags, so let me do that quickly. Oops. Good. And down here we are going to add some text as well. I am not even trying to figure out what to put in here, so just random. It's going to go on these. Sometimes I like to spare my brain from the thinking. Now that I look at it, this top nav can be smaller, so I'm going to move this out. Page menu. And main menu. Let's make this 45%. Yep, that's good. I think I'm gonna make them space around. Then again, I'm in between two minds. I may want them to display differently, so let me take out the justify content for each of them and use align items instead, just to get things vertically centered. We'll figure out justify content in a little bit. This top part is a bit tall as well, so I'm going to make that a lot smaller. 25 pixels may not be too bad. Flex and alright, so we are going to use gap on the main nav. Wait, my music stopped. What happened? I can't live without my music. Oh, it suspended the tab. Good job, Chrome. Wait a minute. That just switched out of my playlist without warning. Wow. Alright, let me load a new playlist because the playlist I was using apparently is done. Alright, here we go. Alrighty, no. Oh, gap. Let's go with about 15 pixels. Yeah, is that enough? Is it working? I can't really tell if it's working. It should be. Alright, tell you what, I'll add a margin because I don't even know if this preview plugin is recent enough to support gap. Gap is a pretty recent property in CSS, so it may not work. So I'm going to go with main menu. Oh, you know what? I just realized I did. I put gap in the wrong thing. So it will work if I put it in the right thing, in the right declaration block. Gap 15 pixels. There we go. So I apologize, preview plugin. It wasn't your fault. It was me being stupid. And oh yes, one more thing that we can share between these two. But we're going to need to add it to their anchor elements because the style of the anchor element does not well, sorry, the style of the anchor element overrides whatever is contained in, even if you're using the browser's default styling. So I have to set this specifically. So text decoration, none. Good. Alright, and now for the main. That is the main man. Also going to use flexbox on this because I'm obsessed with flexbox, so I'm going to copy that up to here. Flexflow column, no wrap. In fact, no, let's reserve that for the mobile view. So what I'm going to do actually, cut this and drop it into a media query. Media only screen and max width. Let's go with something like 500 pixels, which is like nobody's phone. You know, I'm actually very proud of myself for remembering this because I didn't always remember the text for media queries like this. I used to have to Google it every single time. So that's progress. I actually remember them. I remember it by heart. Can't remember any other media queries, but at least I remember that one. I am so smart. I think this font size is a little huge, so let's bring the font size down. But I'm going to need to change the font size of the navs because they're set by percentage. Then again, I just remembered too that I have this interface zoomed in. So if I zoom this out, yeah, that's gonna be pretty small. Let me leave it at like 13. That should be good. I wish there was a way to zoom different parts of the interface separately, but I don't know of any way to do that. And I'm not sure if there is a, well, no, I'm not sure. I haven't installed any plugins to load this, to load your content in another browser, so I'll have to probably work it out off stream for the next time. Didn't think of that. In Atom I could do that, but in Visual Studio Code I haven't set that up yet. Alright, I am gonna stop playing around now with miscellaneous stuff and actually start styling this a little more importantly, a little more interestingly. So let's get to work on actual visual stuff. So the main man padding, let's give it a padding of not 35, oh, about 100 pixels at the top, 35 on the side, 50 at the bottom, and 35 on the other side. Okay, maybe less than 100, even though there's going to be a header above it. Let's go with like, yeah, let's go with 20. I know that's a big jump down, but I just remember the header goes above it, so let's try to remember what that class is. Page header, figured it would be that. Page header, background image, linear gradient. Speaking of gradients, I just remembered I have a tutorial I'm working on animating gradients, but I'm also writing another one on gradients which I will not give away, which is how you can animate them by faking them, which I think would be pretty cool. Wait, this actually gives me a color picker. I did not even realize that. That is so cool. Nice. Color me impressed. Pun intended and unintended at the same time. It's just natural for me. I'm a pun merchant. Height. Wait, did I? Okay, good. I got that correct. Height is gonna be maybe 20%. I just remember we didn't give the body a height, so let's do that. Good. So now I can actually see what that header is supposed to look like. Also give this some text content, but we're going to wrap it in a span so we can move it around. So, welcome to Fancy Company. In fact, we don't need that selector. Let me take that back out. I forgot also we have a variable for this. Top element color. Or let's go with BG. Where is our header text? I can't see it. Did I miss something? And this doesn't support the inspector. Okay. Copy path. Let's load this up over here and see what's happening. Ah, I see. It's all the way up there. Easy fix. Flexbox to the rescue again. Display flex. Justify content center and align item center. There we go. Oops, not so much. That's insane. Good. 5 pixels is good. See how it looks over here. Gonna need to adjust these font sizes, obviously. They are surprisingly tiny in Chrome, or maybe it's just my monitor. But I didn't expect 14 pixels to be this small. Maybe it's just Chrome, because in Firefox this is much bigger than this. Good reminder, me has stopped testing in Firefox primarily because, apart from the fact that it has become extremely sluggish, it looks very different from Chrome. By default, I should say. Even, wow, that is terrible. I'm just gonna say this, right? And I know some people may disagree, but I'm a little bit puzzled at how Chrome is so dominant when it does certain things so badly. Like, that default font in Chrome is ridiculous. And if I didn't have this set to a custom font too, by the way, you would be surprised at how ugly that looks. Because even when I set it to sans serif, I don't know if it's just on Linux, but this is how it works for me. I can set the font style to sans serif and it's still serif. And I'm wondering, how do you get a big, huge, popular browser from a big, huge company like Google and you can't get that right? But anyway, no big deal. Alright, what am I looking for? There's something I was just about to fix after I came over here. And no, alright, the size of the nav bar. I couldn't remember. Alright, so let me, oops, I just scrolled past it. Let me make this bigger. Good, that should be much better now. What I'm actually gonna do, temporarily, is work with Chrome, even though this is not gonna live reload, because I want to actually see what this looks like in the real world. Good, there we go. Alright, man, now I'm gonna give it some padding. I wish there was a way to just have this reload automatically. Oops, I put the padding the wrong side. Good, much better. Stop trying to translate my Latin. It is English. Everyone knows what lorem ipsum dolor se amet consecutor whatever means. Everyone knows that. A child knows that. You don't need to translate it. It means stuff and things and other ways. Okay, so the main man. Let's style these sections a little bit. the main section box shadow 008px RGBA 000.2, and let's also give them a margin of 15 pixels and padding of the same 15 pixels. Okay, so I've just been informed this should be able to work outside the IDE. Now I'm going to need to know how to do this one because I have not done this outside of Atom. Outside of Atom, well, not outside of Atom, in Atom, I just need to copy the, what you call it, the URL. I wonder if it should show in my command palette, actually. Okay, it only has that one. Alright, I'm not finding this one. Maybe it's a plugin I need to install? I'm not sure. But for whatever reason, it's not showing here. I don't know why VS Code does this, but sometimes my menu doesn't show either. Alright, let me see. Show menu. Okay, not view. I was able to get it back, was it yesterday or whenever it was? I know I can't see it. See if it will. Still not opening. Nope. Alright, let's try something. I'm gonna look for... okay, well, yeah, I can't open them from here. I still need to get to my menu and it's not opening again. And I can't really tell you why that is. Now I'm lost. Alright, so I'm gonna probably switch to Atom because I cannot find certain stuff in VS Code right now and it's making me look like I have no clue what I'm doing because I don't. But I'm gonna switch to Atom and use the live preview plugin from there. I can't remember if I installed that plugin or not. And it certainly doesn't come by default. But for whatever reason, my menu doesn't want to open and that's the most frustrating part. Because it should, and it did yesterday and now it won't. Oops, what did I just type? Menu, not SVG, I said, okay, something just stole the focus from this. Alright, menu. Alright, there it is. Toggle menu bar. It wouldn't show up earlier. I don't know why. couldn't remember where that was either because I do not use VS Code often enough. Blame it on the atom. Right, I'm gonna look for this live preview extension and hopefully it will work. Oh, it works just the same as Ahem. Awesome. Okay, so let's see now. This should work precisely as Ahem does. Epic! Awesome. Nice. So I'm going to close Ahem, which y'all couldn't see, and we'll work with this, and I believe everything should be back to how I expect it to be now. Let me just test that theory out. Okay, that is pretty cool, because on Ahem when I'm typing it doesn't change a thing, so that's even better. I'm impressed. Okay, so let's get back to work basically. Let's use 35 and 45. Oops, 45 for these. You know what I forgot? Page menu should actually come below the header. So, well, the page nav. So I'm gonna have to move this. I could position it. I technically could position it using Flexbox. Actually, let me do that because I've rarely done this, so I'm gonna actually do that with the body. I'm gonna position it using Flexbox. Where is page nav? I didn't write page nav separately? Okay, well. Let's drop it in here. Now the property I'm looking for, I believe, is... No, it's not flex. What is it? No, it's... I saw it last night and I can't remember. Because I don't usually use it. Is it flex position? Or is it art? Oh, it's not flex anything, it's order. That's what I was trying to remember. Order 1 should do it, or no, it should be order 2. Not 21, 2. I'm probably gonna need to set the main to be number 3. Alright, let me quickly check this on MDN. There are some accessibility concerns, so we won't do that. Let's just be normal and put it in the right place. I was trying to get the benefits of the z-index being correct by having the nav at the bottom of the actual code, but it won't do that this time. So let's just move this as I should have from the beginning. What do you mean site can't be reached? Okay, let's start this again. Show preview and reload. There we go. Perfect. No. Page nav. I'm gonna give this a background color of var page nav bg, or better yet, since we're using top level, let's keep our names consistent. So we're going to call this mid-level background. Now you'll notice something, I'm reusing colors. Actually, I'm going to reuse them even smarter by creating variables for them. So we're going to call this dark gray. Let me just copy this. Variables open up a whole lot of opportunities in CSS and save you from having to use Sass all the time to achieve the same thing. Oops, why am I typing that? Yeah, I meant to use var dark gray. But yeah, I was saying variables open up a lot of possibilities in CSS and things that were just never possible before. I mean, like, all sorts of crazy configurations and stuff you can do. Not just themes, which I've done, but some even cooler stuff as well. Alright, so where was I on this page? I completely lost where I was. Okay, here we are. I'm gonna copy this, take out background. Mid-level color. This will be narrow white. Just remembered I need to apply this to the anchor tags themselves. So I'm going to copy this. not updating. Is this not reloading again? Yeah, it's not reloading. Alright, let's get live server one time, seeing as live preview is just being special. So, goodbye. I should have known you would take so long since I saw at me. Taking forever. Alright, let's... Oops. I uninstalled it and it still works. That's amazing. Alright, let's see if this will work now. Open with live server at 5500. Breaking news. A website was discovered today at 5500 hours. Oh, that's cool. Are we in streams? I do not remember. Yes, we are. Awesome. Stop trying to translate my Latin, Google. It's not translatable. Wait, how did you... Okay. I didn't actually open Firefox, buddy. I know Firefox is going to take its cool time to close. Anyway, let's get back to this design. Alright, what else did I need to do here? Alright, justify content center. Are you reloading? Okay. Just checking. I do have page nav set to flex, right? Oh, I don't have page nav set to flex. Wow. There we go. Oops. Gap doesn't. What did I just press on my keyboard? This keyboard is so weird, right? Because it has media keys, everything is kind of like out of position, or at least it feels out of position. So it's so easy to press the wrong thing. Alright, let me put a margin on the LA elements instead of using gap since it clearly did not want to work. LA margin 0 and 10px. Good. And now we will set up that menu that I talked about. So height we will set to, let's go with 100 pixels, width 100 pixels, now don't panic since you see everything moving around. I will fix that. Position absolute. I'm gonna need to change one little thing on the page nav though, by the way, which is instead of using padding, let me use height and go with something like 35 pixels or so. And oh yeah, I also need to add position relative. And now I think about it, I can take the flex box off of this as it's not gonna need it. Or wait, am I using the right thing though? I just remembered. We had one... Oh, right, it's circle menu, so I chose the wrong thing. Alright, so let me undo a couple of things here. I chose the wrong menu to edit, so my mistake. Alright. Circle menu. You're the one that's supposed to have all this stuff. Height 100 pixels, width of 100 pixels. Position is absolute. Or better yet, instead of using position, I'm going to use a margin hat. So I'm going to take off let me take off just 100 minus 35, that is 65 pixels. Oh wait, wrong position, that should be at the end. Or the margin hat didn't work as I expected it to, for whatever reason. So I'm gonna have to position it absolutely indeed. Alright, position absolute. Absolute vodka. I have no clue how that ad is supposed to go, so that's all I can give you today, sorry. Alright, left is, let's go with 45% and right of 45%. Background color is going to be mid-level color, and the color is going to be mid-level background. Border is going to, well, border radius, we're going to set that to 50%. I usually just go for 100 one time and call it a day, but we're going to go with 50%. By the way, my apologies to anybody who may have been on chat because I did not see any of your responses, if there were any. Oh, there are none. Good. Because I didn't know if there was anybody saying anything. I have not really been checking. My apologies. Oh. Let me get the second and fourth element and give them slightly different margins. So page nav, li, nth of type 4, margin left, let's go with about 10%, and then let's copy this, nth of type 2, margin right of 10%. Alright, let's go more than that. Wait, am I selecting the right one though? No, I'm not. Is my math off today? It probably is. How come 4 worked for whichever one that was and 2 did not? Let's see. I thought I had my math right. Okay, somebody is being misselected here, and I'm not sure what I am not remembering, but oh well. We will use the usual trick. Border 1px solid red. Okay, way is interesting. Oh wait, I have last of type. That's why. It should be nth of type, not last of type. So there we go. Yeah, it is for, oops, for, alright, sorry for that confusion there, folks. My brain obviously had a moment, like an ice cream moment. You know, like when you eat ice cream and your brain just stops working? I don't know what happened there. There was no ice cream involved in this process, but somehow that's what happened. Alright, wait, who am I selecting now? Now I'm having another ice cream moment. 1px solid red. It is you. So why is it not? I see. Oh, you know why? Because we need to shift everything here across. So let me get number 1 and move this to the left. Negative 20%, or let's go like 10, and you, I will increase you to, oops, I will increase you to 30, or maybe 25, not 25, 27.5, 28.5, that looks good to my brain. There we go, finally, had to tweak that quite a bit. Let's just make sure, oops, make sure that when I resize this, okay, yeah, we need some more tweaks to get this exactly right. But on mobile view, these would be disappearing anyway, so no big deal. I mean, like around this size, I would turn them off. Alright. So back to actually styling this circular menu here. Oh yes, let's copy you and drop you off at school. Oops. What just happened? Oh, I tried to open another link because I accidentally clicked on it. Wonderful. Align items, center, and justify content. Center. Perfect. Let's also make this menu clickable, so we're gonna add another little menu to this. This will be circle menu, content, We'll get back to styling that shortly. Oh wait, I can close this. I forgot to close that. Is there anything? Oh yes, missing one thing. The stuff that makes this clickable. No, really and truly, since this is clickable, I'm gonna make it a button. Never mind that that's not correct in terms of semantics. I'm cheating and I don't care. I'm sorry. On click, toggle class. Oops. Toggle class. We're gonna give you an ID of circle menu. So toggle class circle menu. Oh. Open. Right. There. Wait a second, I just realized something. Changing this to a button caused things to go haywire. Whichever it is, can't remember. LA. Clearly it doesn't like that as a button, so we will leave it as an LA. Semantics is funny though, because technically you're not supposed to use anything that's not clickable as something clickable, but at the same time, in cases like this, consider how much wrapping you have to do, because I'd have to wrap a button inside of an LA element just to make it clickable, which is really not the wisest thing to do, because then your code becomes very complicated. But oh well. I'm not the one who writes the rules. I just simply would have, you know, done things a little more efficiently. But anyway. Alright, so let me write a comment here to do drop down menu. We'll get back to that eventually. Oh, and I can also turn off this debug thing. I don't need that. So give this a box shadow. And I'm going to shift the main man down just a little bit. Good, that's perfect. Now let's actually make this into the different interfaces that I mentioned at the beginning. We'll have mobile, desktop, and watch. Took me a while to get here, as I can imagine you probably have been wondering, when are we going to get to the fun stuff? Well, now we are. Alright, so to get to the fun stuff, there's one little tiny piece that I forgot, and that's the title. It has no text on it. Doesn't really serve any purpose. Let me make that very quickly. Font size, we'll go at 200%. Also use page title here. And justify content center. There we go. Can probably make this a little less wide, seeing as it doesn't need to take up that much space, so we'll bring it to about there. Bring this to 15. And I'm going to change the background color for the title, so I'm going to drop this here on the nav. Good. So now let's actually make this into a mobile interface. First things first, let me add some optional images on this top menu. Well, they technically won't be images, they'll be pretend images. So let's add spans that don't really serve any purpose. Alright, I mean, they do serve a purpose, but they'll be pretend images. So you can imagine these are images, but since this is a mockup, they don't actually need to be. Alright, let me take out the space here because that won't actually be used. Good. Let me find main nav. Right, main nav is right here. So main nav li span. I know this is very specific, but I'm being specific for a reason, because we don't want to affect any other spans anywhere else on the page. So we're going to set them to display none by default. In fact, before I do that, I'm going to set their styling that we'll use on a mobile device first, then we'll turn them off. So their background color is going to be var top element color. Their color is going to be var top element background. I'm going to set their height 100%, 100, not 9, 100%, or better yet, since that doesn't work, I forget, we can use, no, if we use a line self, that's not going to work either, and I need to set it to the height of the nav, so, oh, right, let me put it to 100% indeed, and then set the parent elements to have a defined height. Instead of using height, because there's some quirks that you have sometimes with certain elements, I'm going to set them to align self stretch and display as flex. And also for, well, yeah, let me put align items center. Good. To do it. Oh, wait. Missing comma. Perfect. There we go. So now I can take out this height and set the width go with, I think we have this at 45 pixels wide, tall, so yeah, the width can be about 45 pixels on this. I'm gonna want justify content center as well. Do I need anything? Oh, box shadow, just to give them a nice inset style. Then again, I will set this so when they're hovered instead. Although on mobile you don't hover yet. So let me just leave it as is. Maybe when they're selected or something, we'll add a class to that and make them look like that on mobile devices. So now that we have everything in place, we can turn off their display. And actually, let me duplicate this block here. The reason I'm doing this is they share some of their code, but they don't share all. So I'm going to take out the part that they don't share, and there we go. Right. Just cleaning some things up. Now, to make this actually work on a mobile device, we're going to come down to our media query. I believe this window should be less than 1000 pixels, so we should be able to see it immediately. Right, good, we can. Now what I want is page nav. We're going to put this bottom 0, top is going to be, no, this is not page nav, it's main nav, not page nav. Main nav bottom 0, and top is going to be calc 100% minus 45 pixels. Good. And we're going to do the same thing with the page title. So page title, right, that moves everything in the bottom on a mobile device. Then we're going to turn off the anchor elements. In fact, no, if we turn off the anchor elements, the spans disappear. Okay, so let me move the spans out of the anchor elements and just drop them in the LI element. Instead of copying that or redoing that, let me just copy and paste all these here. Did I fix that correctly? Okay, cool, I did. Just needed to be sure. Okay, so now we're going to turn these off and turn on the span. So display none, main nav, span display flex. And we need to just fix these selectors here. Take out the anchor where it isn't necessary. Alright, now I'm not seeing them. Why am I not seeing them? I obviously forgot that moving them is going to change some other stuff. So, yeah. See, this is where CSS can be frustrating for others. I can totally understand why people look at CSS and go, man, that is too much work. This is also why people write and use frameworks, by the way, because this stuff is a lot of trickery and sorcery and all sorts of stuff. Alright, what are we looking for now? They're not even visible. Let me take this out. My mantra is, when in doubt, take something out. Still can't see him. Alright, tell you what. We are going to put everything back the way it was. With a couple exceptions, of course. We just made sure that this still has those blocks of code I wrote earlier, right? So it has a span, but we're going to change this to a class instead of just span. So this will be mobile button. Mobile button. And we're going to leave that on. And back over here, we're going to change everything back to the way it was before. Wrap these up in spans. Before I copy them, let me add this class. Class mobile button. Oops. Alright. And I need to close the sidebar because I cannot find that stuff. No! Stop jumping! Good. Now, back over here, we are going to hide the spans. And show the mobile button. Clearly, another thing still needs to be worked out up here. CSS is fun, isn't it? Okay, where was I? Alright, we selected that as display flex and that as display flex and these as da-da-da, so that has nothing to do with it. Nav LIA mobile button. Since we're using a class, we can take out all this. Good, there we go. I knew it. Had to be a selector. So, there's a trick I came across today on on Stack Overflow, and it's pretty cool. So actually, instead of using a width of 45 pixels, let me use a width of, let's say we wanted to have something like Instagram or something like that, and so we had only a certain amount of buttons available, right? We're gonna move this out, this width out. We're gonna put main nav li, move this up in here. The trick basically that I'm about to use as soon as I get this complicated mess down here sorted is that we're going to only show a certain number of buttons at a time on a mobile device. So all I need to do is get these to show at the right width that I want them at, and then basically have the last two buttons drop off. Right, so what am I selecting again now? I have main nav li as 30%. I probably will need to set main nav is it menu? Page menu? Nav menu? Alright, nav menu. Yes, nav menu is gonna be with 100%. Okay, that did not do it either. Let's see what is going on. Border 1 px solid red. Still can't see it. Did I select the right thing? It's not nav menu, it's main menu. That's way. Good, there we go. Thank you. Main nav, I'm gonna set that to have no padding whatsoever. Stretch doesn't work with flexbox, I know, but I still just tried it anyway. Justify content center is not. Is this set to display as flex though? Something is up with these that they're stretching out, or is it just the? Let me see something here. Is it just the spans? Okay. That didn't work either. Okay, so y'all are being affected, but why is your width not changing? What am I forgetting or missing or something? This is where CSS gets to be really fun, because you run into some troubles and bugs and mistakes and stuff that sometimes seem inexplicable, and then you find that one little thing and you're like, oh yeah, it was there all along. And I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for that meddling dog and his fleas. Seriously. Alright, so it ain't the margins on these. Their width, I believe, is correct. Let me see how big they are though. Background color blue. So it's not that either. Alright, you know what? Let me turn off display flex on you and make it blocked instead. It ain't that either. Interesting. Ah, now you work. Okay, I see you. Alright, well, we're going to use a hat because I am not fighting with this today. I would have to sit down and go through my code with a fine-tooth comb to figure out what exactly is causing that problem, and that's not even what I'm trying to demonstrate, so I'm not doing that right now. So what I'm going to do instead is use a defined width, which is not as pretty or as useful as I want it to be, and I'm going to load up that hat because now it has jump from my memory, and we're gonna turn off these two last things here. In fact, I just remembered it. It is, alright, I'm gonna copy this, and then I'm going to have nth of, well no, it's li nth of type, and it is 3, I think, plus 1, or is it 3n plus 1? And then I think you use display none. Right, there we go. Did it. First try. Something like that. Like 1.5 tries, and I got it right. I'm a genius. Somebody give me a lemonade stand. So yeah, basically, apart from having to set these widths as, you know, predefined, which is not what I wanted, that was what I was talking about in terms of setting up a mobile interface that only has a set number of buttons, similarly how you have on Instagram and stuff like that. So this is how you could build a mock-up for your mobile app with CSS. Took us a long time to get there, but we got there. I'm not going to bother fixing this menu on mobile either, because that's not the big deal. And I'm not going to do the clicking and stuff, because this stream has gone longer than I intended because of some, you know, getting stuff to look a certain way and all that. But what we're going to do is build a watch very quickly. So let me actually just, alright, view, I keep forgetting the thing to open the sidebar, the shortcut code to open the sidebar. Alright, control and a slash, which I'm not typing right now. I don't need my extensions, so how do I close this? I don't even remember. Alright, view, open view, export. Thank you, that's what I was looking for. I couldn't remember that. Okay, interfaces, I'm going to create a new file. In fact, first let me rename this file. Rename to desk mobile. Why is my headset coming off? Y'all get to see like the most human side of me on streams. So we're gonna create a new index and drop in the usual boilerplate. And this time we are going to reference a new CSS file, CSS watch.css. And this is going to be interesting. So let's add watch.css. And we're just going to add a few things here because on a watch you don't have that much to deal with. So I'm going to add a header and we're going to put a fake clock on it. So let's say it's 1:30 p.m. Then we're gonna add a nav, and this nav can't have too many buttons, so we are going to do 3 of those buttons. And I'm just gonna put a plus, a minus, and what are we gonna put in here? How about a D? Just random. It doesn't matter what's in it. It's really about positioning these elements. And let me try a hat. I'm gonna see something. If this works, this is gonna be so cool. I haven't tested this before, by the way, but I'm about to see if this works. Body, height. I don't think body is about to even support what I'm about to try, but we will see. Let's see if body supports border radius. If it does, that would be so cool, but I don't think it does. No, it doesn't. So we need to wrap this stuff up. That's no big deal though. So we're gonna make the body's background. Right, 35, 35, 35. This here we're gonna cut this because we're gonna use it on something else. Let's create a class called container. Drop that in there. Display flex on the body. Justify content center. Align item center. I know everybody would say use grid. I don't use grid that often. Nothing against grid, just not my thing. I've gotten so accustomed to Flexbox now as just automatic. But it's not I'm against CSS grid, it's cool too. But yes, I know the usual trick. Display grid, place item center, and there you go. So class, what did we call it again? Container, right? Container. By the way, I'm about to hydrate. Y'all probably have never seen me hydrate on stream before, so this is history in the making. Somebody clip that. We have just made history. I drank water on stream for the first time. Right, so container, let's give it a background. Instead of a background color, let's go with an image, background image, radial gradient, and we are gonna use some fancy colors here. So 35, 95, and 135. And then we're gonna have 95, 135, and 235. Oops. Height 50%. Width 50. Instead of using percentages, let me use the view width for each of them so that they're exact. That should be border radius, not border. Position is going to be relative. And now the contents. So header is going to be, oops, header is going to be position absolute. Top 25%, left 25%, right. You know what, look, instead of doing all that, let me use this property and set 25% and display. Oops. Good, so everything's centered nicely. Color, I'm gonna just use weight this time because this is more demo purposes than getting it perfect. Oh yes, let me change the font family to sans serif. Font size, something like 400%, which is insane, but it's a WAP, so yeah. Oh yeah, and on the container there's another important thing I forgot to add. Overflow hidden. Now you'll notice that the nav that I added to the watch interface has just disappeared. That was on purpose because I'm going to put it in place perfectly where it needs to be later on. Border, let's go with 3px solid RGBA 235, 235, 235.5. And let's give it a box shadow as well. 0, 0, 18 pixels and RGBA 0, 0, 0.5. Not that visible with the background like this, so we'll make the background later. Good, so there's our watch interface template. Now we're going to start moving stuff around and actually making this look like a watch, like a smart watch. Oh, before I do that, let me also add a second box shadow, but inset this time. So inset and just paste that, and there you go. The nav, also position absolute. Top is going to be 45%, bottom 45%, right is 0. Let me leave that there. Nav, button, I want first child. Just gonna type it. Oh, there. Now it shows up. First child. I was trying to be lazy and then realized that Visual Studio Code didn't like me being lazy. So first child is also, in fact, all of them are gonna be position absolutely. So let me just put position absolute here and take out the first child. The first child is going to be top 0, I believe, and left 0. Am I doing this right? I can't recall, because these should be. Alright, trying to recall. If I have an absolutely positioned parent and I absolutely position their children, yeah, I believe they should also be positioned according to the size of the parent, right? Alright, let me make the parent visible so I can actually find the children. Background color white. And width. Am I doing that right? Okay. Oh, that's what it was missing. Right, there we go. Good, so I got that correct. Just needed to be sure. Alright, we don't really need this to be too wide. Just need to know where it is temporarily so I can position the elements that are inside of it correctly. So the top on this, instead of 0, let me take this up to like say not 100, about 50 pixels. Good, that's good there. Border 50%. Instead of left, I'm gonna go with right of 0. Wait, not border 50%, border radius. Twice I made that mistake. Not gonna let that happen again. And instead of changing width and height all the time, I'm gonna put aspect ratio 1:1. So we just need to adjust one of these. Let's move it up some more, like top 75, right -15 or so. Good, there we go. Alright, so a second child. Alright, that doesn't work. Nth child 2. Alright, so since that one is about there, we can move this one down a bit. I want them to kind of overlap, but not completely. For this one, I'm going to change top to bottom. Move it to the same amount as the one above, so minus 55 pixels. The index is going to be... In fact, come to think of it, I don't need to change the z-index. What I can do is swap these positions so that I get the z-index benefits one time. Right, there we go. Width, I'm going to take that back down to 65. Change the background color. Now these background colors I use are temporary, so let's go with a more reasonable background color now. I forgot Visual Studio Code has this really cool feature. Atom should get that. That's really, really cool. I believe there's a way to put borders outside of objects, but I'm not digging for that right now, so I will leave it alone, although it is bugging my eyes. I want the borders outside the object and not inside, but anyway. Let's take this down a notch. I'm gonna have all the buttons use the same color as well. Well, same background color. Alright, that didn't get picked up by the buttons either. Okay, so there we go. We have a basic watch interface done, and I think you're basically able to see the gist of this, where this can go from here if you were doing a mock-up for a watch. The basics that I wanted to cover is you can use overflow hidden on the parent, use the border radius to give you a circular view, and you don't have to use clipping, which is another way I could have done this. I could use clip path to basically clip the outside of everything else, but overflow does the same job and works just as fine as far as I'm concerned. Clipping would give you the added benefit though of being able to have just about any shape as far as I remember. So yeah, I could have done that, but I didn't feel like going through all the trouble of clipping today. One last thing I want to do here with this, because I'm pedantic and I like things to look fancy, is to change some of the appearance on this before I go. But I'm going to be heading off shortly because this stream has gone on long enough, and I think you basically get the idea of what I was demonstrating today. Okay, well, header doesn't really want to change the font weight because browsers, so we'll leave that as is. I was gonna add more to this watch, like a background image of a, you know, like an actual image and all that, but in the interest of time I won't go through all that trouble. But you can basically see how you can build really complex interfaces with just CSS. That was the point of this stream today, to demonstrate to you just how cool CSS really is. Not really, to show you how to do different stuff, you know, like different interfaces and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the gist of it. But until next time, you know who I am. I'm Roland Taylor, aka Roland Dixar. You can find me on rolanddixar.pro/streaming if you want to find more information about my streams, my YouTube channel, my tutorials, my downloads, wallpapers, templates, just about everything. I link them all from that same page, but if you go to my website, you'll find everything else. I have too many things to list, so yeah, check out my website, check out my socials, check out my stores. There are about 3 stores right now, so you have time to get stuff for Christmas. You don't have any excuse. If you didn't get somebody something for Christmas, that means you just didn't want to, and that's a very bad thing. I was going to say something else, but I won't say anything else. But yeah, go to my stores and get something for Christmas if you want. Who knows, I may even give a discount at some point in time, so make sure and check them out. And I'm going to be dropping a YouTube tutorial this week again. I'm almost finished editing, so that should be out by tomorrow or tonight. One of the two. But yeah, check out my dev posts as well. I write a lot of CSS stuff on there, so check those out. But until next time, I'm Roland Taylor, aka Roland Ditsor, and hope you enjoyed it. I had fun, hope you had fun, hope you got a laugh at my mistakes and all that stuff. See you next week.